I ran across these weaving samples the other day. That I made these when I was making some scarves a while back. They're just nice little pieces of woven fabric, but they're small. What do you do with them? And when I saw them the other day, I thought, I think I'd like to make a journal cover with one of these. And I decided on the green one to see how I like it, really, because green is not my favorite color, but I think this is still pretty. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do today, is make a Madori-style journal using this for the cover. At the end of the video, I'll make some other suggestions of different kinds of fabrics that you could use instead of weaving samples if you don't have a weaving sample to use. So let's get started. This is Linda from Linda's Paperworks. And what I'm using for base on this is another food box. This journal will be similar to the after supper journal that I did a while back. This one, it's going to be a little bit bigger, not by much, just a little bit wider to mainly accommodate the weaving sample. But it will be held together with the elastic like this one is. The first thing I did was cut this down to the right size, and I cut the corners off. I used this little, I made myself a little template that I just put on the corners and then cut the corner with a knife. Or you could use scissors, it wouldn't matter. Just so that when I go to cover this with paper, that I can fold it around the corners easily. First thing I want to do is cover the outside of it with this paper. And I'm going to cover the entire box, even though the front will be covered with the fabric. I want to have this behind that. I'm contemplating making the fabric a pocket on the front. I haven't decided for sure on that, but I'd like to have this behind it just to cover up the box. And I think what I need to do first of all is give this a little going over with my sanding sponge to make the surface a little rougher so the glue will stick better. And I will take care of that, and then we'll get on with it. I like to just wipe off that, I call it sand, I guess, from when you sand the cardboard down. It takes off a good bit of the surface of that, and it's not shining anymore. It's also a technique you can use if you were going to use, if this had something on it that you wanted to use, design it that you thought was pretty, you could make it look vintage by doing what I just did with that, using a sanding block and sanding it down. I'm going to use my glue stick, which is Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength. And I'm going to just put this all over the cover and the back cover. And then I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac around the edge to just make sure everything sticks down like I want it to. Okay, that's pretty good. This will wrap around to the inside, so I'll also glue that with the Fabri-Tac so that it's held down. And then I'm going to put paper on top of that, which will add an extra layer of making it secure. And I'm going to glue this with Fabri-Tac on the spine just to hold it down a little better. Just put a little Fabri-Tac everywhere. I don't know what it is about these glue bottles, but once they've been used for a while, they start wanting to do a volcano thing at the top. It's very, very weird and messy. Okay. Just kind of smoothing that out a little bit. All right. I'm going to put this paper down. I think I'm going to take this off. It's got the glue on it, so I don't have to worry about it sticking to that. And I'm just going to put this paper down, face down, and then place this on top of it. And just, it doesn't have to be perfectly centered because it's not going to really show. It's going to be covered up on the inside with the inside paper, so It doesn't even have to be necessarily very straight, except you want the design to look right, especially on the back. I'm gonna use my bone folder and just kind of smooth this all down. I chose this just because I thought it was a nice neutral paper and wouldn't, even though it's got big letter designs on it, I just thought it was kind of funny. Maybe I'm thinking about back to school, even though I'm not going back to school, and nobody I know really is, but, well, take that back. There are a few who are going back to school, but not me. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is turn these corners down and glue them, and then I'll go back and turn up the bottom and the top and glue that down. So I think I'm going to use the glue stick on this. I think it'll be strong enough for that. Turning back the corner, since it's at an angle, it will smooth out and be more even when it's glued. I'm just trying to set those at pretty much a 90-degree angle where it comes in on the paper there. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and put this around, and then I'll go back with some Fabri-Tac to hold it down all the way. And I think I'll put it on this paper. Okay, I'm going to put the mat back under this so that the glue doesn't get on my cutting mat. I'm going to fold the ends in first. This is a little trick that I saw Pam from the Paper Outpost do. Fold it over that way and make a nice crease there. Bone folder and smooth it down. Top and bottom. Now, all of my corners are not the nicest corners, but most of that will be covered up. This is my inside, and I've had this. I'm going to use more of my mother-in-law's kitchen wallpaper on the inside, and I've had it under the mat to kind of get it to flatten out a little bit. When things have been rolled up for 50 years or so, they kind of don't want to flatten out too well. First thing I'm going to do is clip these corners. Oh no, actually I think I'm going to use my corner rounder on it so that I'll have round corners on the inside. It's not quite as curled up as it was, but it's still remembers being in a roll. I got a tip from a friend that you can iron wallpaper to flatten it out. But since this one has this texture on it, you can see it better on the back. I was afraid it would make it flatter than I wanted to have it, so I haven't tried that yet. I'll have to try that and see how it works. Okay. On this one, I think I'm going to put the glue on the back of the wallpaper and then put it down. And I've got it a little closer on the side edges than I do top and bottom. The only thing about tearing off more is I'm afraid that it would not tear well. Maybe I'll use my knife and cut it. Hope this is not a bad idea on this. Just need to take off a little bit. see how it flattens out when I put the glue on it, see if that makes a difference. I'm kind of excited to have thought about something that I can use those weaving samples for. It would be easier if it weren't curled up, but it's curled up, so we'll just go with it. I'm just going to go along here. Okay, did I get it sort of straight? I think I did. Okay, just press that down. Okay. Now we have the inside and the outside covered. And I think I'm going to let this dry a little bit before I try to fold it. It's fairly straight. I'm going to put it back under here to flatten out a little more. The next thing I'm going to do while I'm waiting for that to flatten out a little bit, before I put the eyelets into the spine and glue this, this is the fabric I'm going to put on the spine to come around to the front. And mainly just to give it a little more stability. The paper, when the paper's on the folds, it tends to want to crack, and that's not something you want to have happen. So this looks a little crooked to me, so I'm going to take that off just a bit there. You have to have it straight. Just pull the pages over that I've been working on. What I did is I took some pages and I tore them in half. Ledger paper, some of that dotted notebook paper, or I guess that's what it is. This coffee dyed copy paper that's coffee dyed. Page of music. One of the pages, like that one that isn't dyed. This is a page out of the index of that old encyclopedia that I have. And this is another piece of coffee dyed paper. And I have the same pages, the bottom half of these pages in this section. So they're the same. Not necessarily in the same order, but similar order. And I also need to fold them. I'm going to add these pages to these sections. And this is going to be the center spread in one of them. I'm going to go ahead and fold these pages in half and make the signatures. Even though we're not to that point yet, I just want my cover to stick down real good before I go further with it. And I'm just going to go ahead and just fold them, and then I'll go back and arrange them. I always end up with quite a few pages in my signatures because I think, oh, that page would be pretty in there. Oh, I want some music page. Pretty soon you have 11 pages, and that's 44 sides, and the next thing you know, you have more than you need. You get a gator mouth on your book. Okay, I got my signatures put together in the order I think I want them in. But the great thing about this style journal is that you put these pages underneath the elastic. So if you change your mind about what order they're in, you just take it out and rearrange them and put them back in. Or you can take the pages out and work on a design on a page and then put it back in your journal. So that's a great thing about this style of journal. And I'm not sure which one's going to go first, which one's going to go second yet. But anyway, I've got the pages ready to slide under the elastic when the cover's ready. I went ahead and trimmed off the long fringe a little bit. It may be still too long, and I can trim it a little more later. That one's not even. But the next thing I'm going to do is glue this fabric to this cover over the spine. And I think it's dry enough now that it's not going to wrinkle up too much. It really doesn't like to fold when it's still wet. I'm going to put this on there, and I think I'll just put the Fabri-Tac on this side, and then put it on. Actually, I'm going to put the Fabri-Tac on the spine, and then just go back and glue the edges. I think my new glue is getting to be gloppy old glue now. I don't know if the heat has had an effect on it or just time, or not having the lid on it enough. Okay. The front the front side is going to be covered up, so if it's a little bit too far one way or the other, it won't matter too much because there won't be anything to compare it to on this side. And then I'm going to just add the glue. I think I'm just going to put it on the edge of this fabric and glue that down. And same thing over here. Now, I think I don't want it too much on where it's actually folded. I'm having trouble seeing where that is. Okay, we're moving right along. I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I do the eyelets. And sometimes when it's wet like that, it doesn't want to go through, the punch doesn't want to go through the paper and the fabric. And I may have to use my awl to go through the fabric. I don't know how many layers that old punch is going to like to go through. And I've got 2 or 3 of paper and 1 of cardboard and 1 of fabric, so it may be challenging to make it work. What I did is I'm using this template from when I made the after supper journal. I had the template cut and I just adjusted it a little bit and for this journal, and I think it's going to be just fine for the placement on it. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I think while that's drying, I'm going to make with this stripe at the bottom, and I'm going to make a little plate to go here that says Journey. I have a stamp that says Journey. Use that, and I have this paper that has advertisements from the 1800s or early 1900s or something like that. I think I'll just use the top part of that and stamp Journey on there, and then tear out around it and put it on a bit of lace maybe or something underneath it. I'm going to stamp this on something else first to make sure I'm going to get a good stamp. Here's a piece of brown paper. We'll try it on that. That did pretty well. If I don't like it on here, I can always use that one. Okay. I'm not sure that this is a good indication of what's happening here, so I think I just need to go with straightness of this, not trying to get that word straight on here. And I'm going to just kind of come down a little bit so I can tear around it if I want to. Okay, well, it's still going uphill a little bit, but that's just going to have to be good enough. It's kind of a flare, a journey flare. Give it a moment to dry. Okay. Just going to tear across here. Try not to tear into the word. I may try to tear this off. I don't really like the way that looks. I think I want something behind that. I don't know if it's this, a piece of that. Maybe I'll tear a piece of that off and see what I think. Okay, I like that number. And maybe about there. Okay, let's see how this is. Well, the number I like is going to get covered up unless I tear off. I don't know if I can tear off enough at the top to make a difference on that. So, and maybe a little bit of lace behind there. I don't know. No, I don't like that. Don't like it. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and punch the eyelets, the holes, and put the eyelets in. And maybe I'll do the bottom ones first to see how they look. Do it that way. Okay, here we go. For better or for worse. And I'm probably going to have to cut it off on the other side. Oh, maybe not. Maybe the... Okay, that's going to work. And then I just need to line this one up in the same place at the top. Tore the fabric up a little bit on that, but that's okay because I'm going to put the eyelet over it and it won't show, I don't think. Oops. Took that one out. Okay, I'm going to use these green eyelets, I think. Let's see how this looks. It doesn't want to go in. Enlarge that a tiny bit with this. I think this awl is a little bigger than the punch on that, so maybe that will make it work. I want that to be smooth because you don't want to catch your finger on that. Only 3 more to go. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, that did it. And it looks pretty even, so that's good. I'm going to put this elastic in, and it matches that color really well, and it looks pretty with that. So thanks, Rach. So to have the knot here, I start here, go through, come out here, go down, go out, and come in here. All right, I'm just going to pull this back a little bit, and I don't want it to be real long where I tie it, but I want it to be a little bit long, maybe like that. And what you do when you tie it is you make it just a little bit tight, and I make it a little tighter than maybe I would ordinarily, but just because it needs to have a little tension in it when you put your pages through there. There we go. Oops, sliding up and down. Let's just go ahead and put the signatures in and see how that looks. Okay. These probably will have to come out again before I finish this. Okay, I'm going to cut this off, I think, to match that. It may need to be a little bit tighter, but we'll see. Put these pages in. And there we go. I'll make those more even. We have the book together, and it's got lots of room to grow, and it's going to have to learn to fold. And to the back. There we go. Okay. All right. And put this on here. This looks like a winter journal, doesn't it? I wish I could make up my mind about what I want to do here. I wonder if I would like some of this lace on here. Maybe I would like that. Just cut it here and build it there. I'm just going to put this on here and see how I like it. I think I cut that a little bit too long and a little bit too crooked. Okay. That covers up all that stripe, though. I don't like for that to be that way. Okay, do I like that? Do we like that? I don't know. Maybe if I push it that way and put this, maybe turn it crooked and turn this straight. I don't like that way. I don't know. I could take that over the back. You know, I'm kind of liking it where that black is showing there a little bit. Nice. I would like that. Okay. Okay. I've decided that I'm going to put a little bit of this lace under the edge of this. Goes that way, I believe. And just have it coming out just a little bit. Just a little edge. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Let's see how this looks on here. You know, it's funny how you can think you have it all figured out. I can think that I have it all figured out, and then when it comes time to actually doing it, I think, oh, I don't like that. Maybe I should do this. I can ponderate for hours. Okay. Now, do we think this looks good? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, and I forgot I had these. I was gonna put this on here somewhere. Like that. And put that clock face on there. Maybe more like that. Okay, I think I'm getting there. I think I am. So, first things first. Take this off, and I'm going to put the lace on there. Okay, have I got the right side on that? I think I do. I'm just going to tap it down the center part there. Like that. And then I'm going to get this scallop also. And I'm still thinking I might want to make this into a pocket on the front. And if I do, then I'm going to need to put something behind the fabric. And I don't know if I want to put a piece of paper, which would be less bulky, or a piece of fabric, like I put on the spine. Okay, we'll just move this right up here. Put it on about like that. Maybe that will help with that looking a little uneven on that edge, I hope. And did I get it straight? Kind of, sort of straight. This needs to go down a little bit. Like that. Okay, where's my baby wipe to pick up all the excess glue? This glue. Okay, throw that one away. I think it's served its time. Okay, now, what do I want to do about that? I would only need it to come to there, which is about 3 3/4 of an inch wide. I think I'll just put that on there. I think I'm going to have that come just to the edge of that lace and have it just barely going out beyond it. Okay. I'm going to this there. And then I'll have a pocket there to put something in. I think that's going to be cute. Better be. It better be. Okay. I think I will glue that edge, and that edge, and put it down. And then I will glue the other. Just put that right like that, and right like that. And across there. That one doesn't matter quite so much. But it might matter there. Okay. The middle is. Let's press that there. That's a pocket for a journal card. I think I will do this top down and glue the clock to that. I'll take care of that in a minute. I'm going to glue this down. Press that down like that. And then this one. I guess that's good. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna leave it at. I may trim these top fringe a little bit more. I don't know. This one looks a little uneven, but it probably is. Uneven fringe. Thanks for coming along with me to make this little journal. And I'm not finished with it yet. I'm going to do some decorating on the inside. Put this pocket here and some other things. I may even put Journey on that page. Anyway, I told you I would tell you some other ideas for using fabric on the cover of your journal, similar to this. And what I want to show you is some of these ideas. You could use, this is a needlepoint piece that I got for practically nothing. It was less than $2 at an antique store when I was visiting my friend, and I couldn't just leave it there. But I think that would make a pretty journal cover, and I may make one of that sometime. It's a summer looking thing to me, so that would be a fun summer journal. I'd probably cut some of this off and use it. So that's one idea. These are something else I got at a thrift store, I guess it was. This was in Colorado. These little placemats tea towels that have embroidery on them. And I think that would be pretty on a journal cover. And this one already has lace around it. But that would make a pretty cover too. Or any embroidered piece like that would be pretty, even using a small piece of it. I have a hard time cutting things like this up. Or even this one, even if it's not finished. It's not bound or made into anything else. Easier to do that than to this one because it looks finished to me. But that's just me. This is just a piece of an old tablecloth, and I think that design would be pretty on the front of a cover. Pull this little one over because it doesn't have much on the cover of it. But something like that, just a little bit of fabric on the front, and then you could put a book plate or something on there. So that's another idea. And this is a embroidered piece, a white embroidered piece. I got it at another antique store, and this was in Mena, Arkansas when we were up there in May this year. But that would be pretty on a cover, wouldn't it? With that, I think I'd like a bigger cover for that to come across like that, and then have even on maybe this yellow journal. See how that looks. Someday I may get brave and cut up some of these things, but so far I'm still in the, oh, it's too nice to do that too. But I think that would be pretty to have that come across like that and have the yellow come out underneath. And then another idea is if you have like a wool sweater that you don't wear anymore, it doesn't fit or whatever, it has stains, you could take it and throw it in the washing machine and felt it. Hot water and a pair of jeans in, I don't know, 10 minutes or something with some suds in there, and it will, you can check it and then, you know, see when you are ready to call it done and use that to make a journal cover. And I think that would be a neat cover. And then this one is a vintage handkerchief. And I think this is really pretty, and it would be beautiful on a cover. It's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to make this into a cover because I can't do it. But I think it's beautiful. I think it's a good idea. So maybe if you find something that suits you, that you would like to use that, I think it's a great idea to do. Those are a few ideas, and I'm sure there's lots of other like doilies, crochet doilies and things like that you could put on a cover, a journal cover, and have some fun with that. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for coming by and visiting with me. Let's put something back on here for you to look at. I'll see you again soon, and we'll do a little more on the inside of this little journal. But anyway, I think it turned out cute. I like it, and I kind of struggled with it there for a while, but it came together. A little pocket here. So I think this crazy hair up here is going to have to be trimmed a little bit. But anyway, I will see you soon. Bye.